Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Elaine Aeris here. Question. Is Baby It's Cold Outside a delightful Christmas bauble, or is it a date R-word anthem? Now, like most pieces of literature and art, people will interpret it how they wish and apply their own meaning to it. What about this song is so controversial? Before we get into the controversy, let's get into the history, shall we? Baby It's Cold Outside was written by Frank Loesser in 1944. If you're not familiar, he was known for writing the music to How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, something I would love to be a part of. If I had a musical title right now, it would be something along the lines of How to Work 2 Jobs and Still Feel Broke. Anyway, he also wrote the music to Guys and Dolls. That is a production I am very familiar with. I happen to play a certain gangster, the Greek, in Sunnyvale Community Players' rendition of Guys and Dolls, and I slayed the purple suit, okay? I also had a stipples put on my face, and I rocked a better 5 o'clock shadow than most men. Pulling it back. I'm bringing it back to the song here. Sorry. Baby It's Cold Outside started as a fun closing number for Frank and his wife, Lynn Garland, to perform at parties. In the words of Garland, "We got invited to all the best parties for years on the basis of Baby. It was our ticket to caviar and truffles. Parties were built around our being the closing act." Now, Frank sold the song to MGM in 1949 to be featured in the film. It's a musical rom-com that was called Neptune's Daughter. I don't know if you've heard of it. I actually hadn't, but now I have. Lynn was reportedly furious when Frank sold the song. It felt like a betrayal. And I quote, "I felt as betrayed as if I'd caught him in bed with another woman. Yikes. She wasn't happy." The song did win the 1949 Academy Award for Best Original Song. So hopefully that softened the blow a little bit. In the film, the musical number features a pair in a man's living room on a cold winter's evening. And the wolf is imploring the mouse, as is written on the sheet music, to not go home because it's cold outside. Baby. I found the man in the scene to be slightly aggressive. The woman is attempting to put on her coat at one point, and he sort of like yanks it off of her, which for me is a bit of a boundary issue, but I do understand that men in this time period were a little more assertive with their interests. It was more of a hunt and less of a swipe right or left situation, which is so romantic. It was very unseemly in the time period for an unmarried couple to spend the night together. So the woman is very concerned about her reputation, because if you don't have a good reputation, you have a bad reputation. Oh no. Now, what people don't realize is that there's a second version of this song in the film where there is a distinct role reversal, and the woman is quite emphatically pursuing the man. She goes full on stage 4 clinger on his butt, and I have to say, it almost makes me a little bit uncomfortable. So there you have it, folks. Equal representation. Snap back to modern times. In 2017, the Me Too movement was going very strong, and the hashtag Me Too went viral. The Me Too movement raised awareness of S-Ridge and S-A that women had endured. It was a hashtag to communicate camaraderie and allow people who had in the past felt silenced to have a voice. Now, in societal fashion, when the pendulum swings in one direction, it tends to swing hard. During this time period, Baby It's Cold Outside did become a subject of scrutiny. There was the claim that it was problematic because it glorified toxic masculinity and justified reasons for ignoring a lack of consent. Baby It's Cold Outside began getting pulled from public radio stations, and to this day, it is actually quite unlikely that you will hear it in public. Now, I try to analyze things from as unbiased of a perspective as possible, which is a challenge as a human, as you know. And before I give you my personal take on this song, which is only my opinion and everyone is entitled to their own opinion, as they seem to forget, people seem to forget that it's okay for people to have different opinions and perspectives. Like, do you want to live in an echo chamber? Anyway, before I go into my opinion of the song, let me share some of the opinions of some people in my life. And these are the people who I am very lucky responded to my random survey question. I just spammed all of the recent friends who I had talked to, and these are just the ones who got back to me the soonest, okay? And the first response I got: I actually think the song is romantic. Second response: the normal version is not creepy. The new one is, LOL. And I know the new version that this person is referring to. It's the John Legend version, and we'll get into that in a sec. Another response: this is my favorite holiday song. Next response: I liked it when I was a kid, but it sounded creepier the older I got. It sounded like the guy was being pushy. I don't go out of my way to listen to it, LOL. So, another perspective, which I'm loving all these perspectives. Next response: absolutely creepy. Next response: LOL. I guess I'm indifferent. I don't listen to Christmas songs. And I just love the range of these. Here's one of the longer responses I got. Hopefully he doesn't mind that I'm sharing this. I don't personally, in response to it being offensive, I saw something a while back that analyzed the lyrics, and it appears that it wasn't written with creepy intent. But that song was written and recorded during a time of old school chivalry. In our culture today, people listen to it and, for better or for worse, find it creepy or like he's attempting to entrap Baby, so she'll stay and do whatever with him. Ooh. It's all subjective as it comes to our views on what constitutes consent or sex or whatever. I can see both sides of the argument, but short answer is I don't personally find it creepy, no. And then it says, haha, sorry for the Joe Rogan rant. Sorry. So there you have it. That is just a quick pool of some people in my life. And it seems that there is a range. So my personal take, and it's really just my personal take. I enjoy the song. I think that in Elf, when Zooey Deschanel sings it, I think it's top notch. It's funny to me that they kind of amplify the creepiness of that scene by having her singing it in the mall locker room shower or whatever, and Elf is singing back innocently because he's an elf. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what to do in the human world. So it's innocent and creepy at the same time. So there you have it. That's my personal take. And it's cold outside. All right, let's get into the lyrics. There are a few lines in the original. which people do take issue with. At one point, the woman jokes, "Say, what's in this drink?" Which people think might be Quaaludes, and that's concerning. That's concerning. However, and once again, we're going into the time period and when this song was written in the 1940s, okay? It more so implied that her inhibitions were lowered due to alcohol. And the woman later on says, "No, no, no, sir." And his response, "Mind if I move in closer?" Which we all know, no means no. So calm down a little, sir. It's a little much. But then she does say, "At least I'm going to say that I tried," which I think means she tried to resist her desires, but he's wearing her down. Personal take. And then he goes, "What's the sense of hurting my pride?" Now, this I find to actually be the creepiest line, because if you do want to turn someone down, and that's your prerogative, you should not have to worry about someone's ego in the process. Don't worry about it. Once again, my take is I don't personally find it offensive, but if people do want to adjust the lyrics slightly, because we live in a changing world and we're always adapting, if they want to tweak them a little bit, then I guess there's no harm in that. Michael Bublé did a really good job of tweaking those words a little bit. He has an adorable version where two children are dancing, and of course they mention soda pop instead of alcohol, and it's really cute. Now, when I rabbit holed on this song, I discovered so many different versions and interpretations of it that I didn't even realize existed. And actually, the more I heard it, the more I liked it. So it is worth checking them out. Now, if you hate the song, you're free to hate it. Hate it. But don't tell the rest of us that we can't enjoy it. This evening has been totally consensual. Cut to October 2018. John Legend and Kelly Clarkson sing a version of "Baby It's Cold Outside" on the deluxe edition of John Legend's Christmas album, A Legendary Christmas. Love the play on words there, John. Love it. Look. Look. I love these artists. I think the album as a whole is top notch. Beautiful compositions. Beautiful vocals. Beautiful. I think it won an award. I'll look that up later. The minor issue I have is that their lyrics on "Baby It's Cold Outside" were adjusted to be less triggering, I guess, and they're so politically correct that they get to the point of ridiculousness, they bad. They sound as though a man is trying to get this woman out of his house, and she's using the weather to ignore social cues, and she just won't leave. Take a hint, lady. Right about the time we get to the line, "Your driver, his name is Murray," you've lost me, dude. I am busting up. I am dead. I am skull emoji dead, laughing, gone. And as fun as these artists are, you know what it reminds me of? Okay. Let's say you're watching a movie and you're engrossed in this film. It's really good. The storyline is engaging. The character development is glorious. And you are just glued to the screen. And then all of a sudden, someone with subpar acting skills shows up, and you're jolted out of this scene, and you're all of a sudden very aware that you're watching someone act, and you're very aware that you're watching a movie. It's jarring. That's how these words are to me. The music, it's so the ambiance, it's flowing. But then you're hearing this guy talk about an Uber driver, and he just wants this chick out of his house, and I can't listen to it without laughing. That being said, I feel like John Legend kind of doubles down, right? So what year is it? So he puts out another YouTube video. I think it might be a year after, where he's just chilling by the fireplace. He has his album on a little table, right? And he's cozy. There's beautiful Christmas holiday scene, and he's chilling, and the song is playing in the background, and the lyrics are showing up on the screen. And I have to say, I really liked this video just because he's just owning it, right? He's like, you know what? Here you guys go. Here's my song. Here's my version. Love it or leave it. I mean, you gotta love John Legend. I just don't know why they had to make the lyrics so distracting. Anyway, but don't take my word for it. Let's jump to the comment section of this song when it first was released on YouTube. Okay, let's jump. Never mess with the classics. When he said, "Your driver, his name is Murray," I felt that crestfallen face. We're both adults, so who's keeping score? Exactly. This is exactly why the original song was fine. Two adults who want to spend the night together. Period. Baby Get Out of My House is my favorite Xmas song. I don't care what people say, the original is always the best. I really can't say. Baby, my wife's pulling out. I've got to go away. Baby, my wife's at the door. Maybe just another drink more? Baby, go out the back door. This actually inspired me. This inspired me to make a comic short about this song. I'll make sure to link that. Just what everyone loves during the holiday season. A tedious 3-minute of two people trying to outwoke each other while waiting for an Uber. I actually don't like the mean spirit of this comment. Outwoke each other. People who use the word woke in a derogatory way, they sound kind of like asshats. Anyway, just putting that out there. Okay? You sound like asshats. Why is she telling him she's needing to go all the time? It sounds like he's got the door open already. This is hilarious. Thank you, John, for giving us a version we can all rally around and should ban. Oh, that's harsh. It's your body and your choice. Laughy emoji. Yeah, that is a little PC. John Legend, stuffing your stocking with consent. Oof. Que coisa Miss Linda? That's another language. I'm assuming that's Portuguese for I'm scared. This new version sounds like he's trying to throw out his side chick before his wife gets home. Mm-hmm. The original is a sweet, charming tune about a gentleman flirting with a lady against a backdrop of winter. It was written in a time when it was considered poor deportment for a lady to stay at a gentleman's home overnight. Wow, what a proper comment. There's about 3 decades of rap music that should be addressed first if you're going to take on this harmless little bauble from 60 years ago. Valid argument. However, devil's advocate, just when I hear arguments like that. I don't think that most people are subjected to WHAP while they are Christmas shopping in the mall. I mean, if you are hearing that in the mall, then I'm curious to see that mall. Your driver, his name is Murray. Sexiest thing I've ever heard. Can John Legend please be left behind in 2019 when we leave this decade in less than 2 months and start the 20s? That comment didn't age well, did it? Oh, you thought 2020 was going to be good? You want John Legend to stay behind and then you go into 2020 and be happy over there? Yeah, I'll stay with John Legend before 2020, okay? Nice try. They always ask, where's Murray? But never, how's Murray? If you're cold, he's cold. Let Murray in. I love stuff like that. So, if you are triggered by it, please let me know in the comment section below. I am genuinely curious to know if this bothers you, if you think it's fine, if you enjoy it. I would like to know. I am curious about the dialogue. Anyway, I left all my sources of this subject in the description. Thank you for joining me for my first ever research video thesis thing. I'm trying something new here. I have my comedy shorts on the short format, but I need something to do in the long format, and I don't know if I can write a comedy sketch that's longer than 1 minute, because that's a long time, and I kind of just want to talk without having to be funny. Like, maybe you found this a little funny. I don't know. Now I'm rambling. I've got to go away. Sorry. You know those people that just sing.
Would you look at the time?
You should just stay hid at night.
I've had too much wine.
You can leave at first light.
It isn't that far.
Maybe just stay where you are.
Back to my place.
You can't escape from my embrace.
I really had a very nice
Let me
time.
just refill that
But I
wine.
really need to just say
I would love to
goodbye.
see you
Please
try.
unlock this door.
Locked from the outside.
Thanks for joining me today.